Salutations, everyone. I'm here in the dark because I'm in the bed, I'm relaxing, and it is what it is. But I just wanted to come real quick because, first of all, I'm still overwhelmed by the untimely death of Malcolm Jamal Warner. When I first saw the post earlier today, I was at work, and it just completely just shocked the hell out of me. That just looking at that post, and I saw it from Ebony, so I knew that it was a reliable source. So I'm still overwhelmed by his untimely death, and I know a lot of the social media is still providing commentary on the details regarding his death. I don't want to get too much into that, but I just want to acknowledge the contribution he made um, within Hollywood. Not just Hollywood alone, but just in our lives. I mean, it's just been a staple in my generation alone. Starring as Theo Huxtable on the Cosby Show, and then Malcolm and Eddie. I don't even remember when he did a sitcom. It was very short lived, but it was a pretty good show. He played a counselor at a community center. I forgot the name of the show. I think it was like Here and Now or something like that. And it was a young Lauren Hill that was on there. Most Def, Yasin Bey, whatever you want to call him. I remember Omar Epps did an appearance on the show. So I do remember that he remained. He left the mark. He stayed working. I know a lot of people know him as Theo Huxtable, but his resume goes beyond that. He's also a musician, spoken word artist, just an all around, just very private person. I um, offer my condolences to his family. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And also, I was looking at social media the last couple of days about the body shaming of Jennifer Love Hewitt. And I'm like, okay, we're still going to do this. I don't know when it's going to stop or if it ever will, because I just think it's ridiculous that this woman, first of all, doesn't bother anyone. I mean, the fact that they're giving Jennifer Love Hewitt this type of attention, it's just mind-boggling because she's very unproblematic, first of all, and second of all, she's thicker than a snicker. I don't understand what the problem is for her to be in her mid 40s with children and living life as we know it, and you have people that still have this ignorant mindset when it comes to the expectations of the aesthetic of a woman. And I'm not talking about a woman of a particular ethnicity. I'm talking about just women in general. The pressure that we still deal with, because I am a component of maintaining your health. I think that is very important that you are very much aware. Self awareness is important. Self awareness along with self care is very important. And I'm not going to be the one to judge or look at anyone, and when it comes to their weight, when it comes to their figure, because we are all not meant to be a certain body type. We are all born with certain body frames. There's certain parts of ourselves that are genetic or just um, a result of various health issues, or sometimes we just allow ourselves to we let ourselves go at times. And I'm talking about men as well as women, but it just seems like men are not as scrutinized, especially in Hollywood, as much as women. So to look at a person like Jennifer Love Hewitt, which to me, the weight gain looks great on her. Because for me personally, I feel like the weight gain is needed because if you look at how she used to look when she was younger, she was thin as a pin. Now she's thicker than a Snicker and looks good on her. So I'm not sure where all this is coming from because um, I guess they got tired of clowning Lizzo because people have been dragging Lizzo for years about her weight, and then when she lost the weight, they was dragging her even more so and questioning how she lost the weight, whether it was Ozempic or do exercise or do healthy eating. It could have been a combination of those things. Who cares? But it's just a matter of you can't win for trying. You just have to do whatever you have to do for your own self, your own self worth. Do it for you, for the sake of your health and your well being. Because I think about when it comes to this whole subject about weight, subject about what the standards are, you know, because I know for years I've been struggling with my weight, and even to this day, am I pleased with the weight I am right now? No, I'm not. And I know that I need to do something about it. Just being more active. So I'm not going to excuse it, but I know that I need to work on it. And I'm not pleased with it at all. I don't like the way I look. And that's just my personal thing. I'm just giving you a little bit of transparency. No, I do not like the, the weight that I'm in right now. Um, but I know that before I had my son, I was always, small. I always weighed 140. I'm 5'4". I always weighed 140. That was the size that I was like my young adult life prior to my having my son. And then when I was pregnant with him, I gained 60 pounds. When I had so by the time I had him, um, on top of the weight gain and the fact that I wasn't really motivated to exercise. I'm going to be honest. I was not in a great place at all. um I was not feeling myself at all. So it just really took a toll because I wasn't rushing to exercise or anything. But it just seems to me that people, I guess they were so shocked about my weight gain because they used to me seeing a certain size. Because even before my son turned 1, I would think that people would understand that I'm not going to um, lose weight right away or within a certain period of time. But I honestly allowed myself to gain more weight, and people brought it up, and they had no problem. They had no problem doing so. They had no filter when it came to me gaining weight after I had my son, and so. Um, didn't help myself. They didn't help my self esteem at all. It was enough that I was already insecure about it. I was very much aware that I allowed myself to gain weight, um, and there were people out there that reminded me of it every chance they got. No, you gained weight. Um, oh gosh, like your breasts got bigger and oh God, you got so big, and they made sure that they reminded me of it. No, not a sensitive bone in their body. But then when I come up, but see, people, see how people, I just think about that. Like they're so quick to want to critique me on how I express myself, or they so quick to want to criticize how I tend to be direct, but I'm not that direct. At least I have the ability to spare one's feelings, you know, because I understand what it's like when you struggle with weight. And don't get me wrong. There's been times where I've observed certain people um, gain weight or or whatever, and they struggle with it. But just from my own personal experience, at that time, just going back to that period when those first few years of my son's life, yeah, I was not in the mindset to lose weight or exercise. I was just, in a space where I was in and out of work, and I wasn't comfortable with myself. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. It was a time, that was a moment where I didn't believe in love. I didn't, because I made certain decisions to where I was not, let me just, I'm trying to avoid saying something that is going to be too offensive. But like I said, I have to, the only way I'm able to express myself is very direct and forthcoming, right? So, the space that I was in at the time of having a child out of wedlock and having a child with a person I couldn't stand, and a person that I knew I shouldn't have had a child with, and just having to sit in the decision that I made and the choices that I made at the time, and be reminded of those things as well. It was just a lot that was hitting at me, and it was overwhelming. And so that added on to the weight gain, to the point where I was almost 200 pounds. And I never, you know, gotten to that point before where I weighed that much. But once I had my mind set on, just not only losing the weight, but just acquiring about the holistic lifestyle, just doing more research about certain supplements and herbs, and cleaner eating. That's when I, started eating differently. I started exercising because, I did it on my terms, and I wasn't obsessed over it. I wasn't one to be on a scale every day. I just, had a routine. I don't know if anybody remembers Denise Austin back in the day. I used to have Lifetime on in the mornings and do my workout with Denise Austin. And just, I just was so committed to changing my eating habits, and I would get colonics at least once or twice a month. Colonics is colon cleansing, you know, that I got to get into again. But anyway, those, some of the things that I would, got into doing, and I was just doing more research and taking classes on raw food preparations, and veganism. Even though I'm not vegan, I'm not completely vegan. Even though I tend to eat a lot of vegan food, and I say I'm vegan adjacent, because I'm not fully vegan. I make sure that I maintain clean eating, even though I'm still fat right now. But that's besides the point, But I still want to maintain, that lifestyle, even though it's a struggle right now. But okay, just going back to the time where, as time went on, I lost 30 pounds and I slimmed down. And so I maintained it for a while. And then once I moved to Georgia, then, the weight slowly started building back up again. And I don't know, maybe the fact that I have half a thyroid is a contributing factor, so I take medication for that, and just other factors as well, not being motivated to exercise as much. So I know I got to be more active. So even though I'm working on my eating habits and maintaining a certain diet, I still need to incorporate the activity with it. So I do understand what it's like as a woman to have to deal with the pressure of maintaining a certain aesthetic in order to be desirable to to certain men. Even though people might say, "Oh, there's men out there that they love a little bit of meat on their bones," and I get it because they do. Most of them do. But I think for myself, and I can't speak for all women, but myself among a lot of women, tend to be self-conscious about not only our weight, but self-conscious about our bodies in general. because I know for me personally, I look at myself and sometimes when I'm getting ready, you know, to go out, and I look at myself in the mirror and I look at how my clothes are fitting now versus like a couple of years ago. I'm not pleased with it. I try to work with what I have, and I try to just kind of, keep certain insecurities to myself because, a lot of times I don't speak out loud about some of the things I feel, some of the ways that I feel about myself. I don't always share a lot of things with people when it comes to this type of thing, but trust me, it's embedded in my mind. It lives rent free in my head, to be honest with you, and I'm still trying to work on that, but it's hard. It's kind of hard because sometimes I think back to the time when I was smaller, even though I don't ever want to be that small again, because being 140 right now, I don't have the desire to be that small again. But I look back at that time, and I think I mentioned in one of my other videos that, you know, there was a time where I was more desirable. I've gotten a lot of compliments left and right about how beautiful I was, and it was hard for me to receive it because I'm like, you know, because growing up, I was never I was told the opposite, I was a total opposite of beautiful when growing up. I was, I was fat, chubby this, black tar baby, midnight, black spook, and, you know, and then don't get me started on my breast because I developed early. And so I had to I was ridiculed for that. And, and what the most hurtful thing is that I didn't a lot of the ridicule, yes, and the ridicule growing up, like the kids around my neighborhood and in school, yes, I got a lot of the ridicule there, but a lot of it came from my family members actually. A lot of people yeah, that's ironic, right? Certain, cousins that I grew up with, those are the ones I got it from the most, about this, the size of my breasts, and or just my weight period, my complexion, and just being ridiculed for all those things. And I know that I wasn't one to always keep myself up as a teenager. I was always just kind of rugged, unpolished. So it took me some time to blossom. But I'm just sharing all this. You know, I know that I'm all over the place with it, but trust me, I know what I'm saying, and I know where I'm going with it because it all circles back to the point that I was making about Jennifer Love Hewitt and Lizzo and people out in the limelight who are being judged or being body shamed. And even though I encourage people to, just like I said, just be healthy, just make healthy choices, be mindful of what you put in your body, as well as how you maintain the exterior. Just be mindful of those things. But the fact that a person like Jennifer Love Hewitt, like I said, who looks great, by the way, she's sticking the right places. And then I look at, you know, as a black woman myself, and look at the size I am now, it's like, I'm like, damn, and being that, I'm a woman of a certain age as well. So it is harder to embrace the, the me within. It's hard to embrace the me within. And that's why I was telling a couple of people also that a part of me, as much as I thank God for the opportunity to be able to live to see another year, because my birthday is coming up in October. And I just, as time goes by, I can't honestly say that I'm completely thrilled with the idea of getting older. I'm just be real with you. I don't think I'm completely thrilled with the idea of getting older, because part of it scares a part of it, I'm scared. A part of me is scared because it's not only because of my size and how I feel about, because I see so many women out there in their 50s, 60s, beyond, that look fabulous. They are fierce, and they are just they're killing it out there. And so that makes me feel a ways too, because I kind of compare myself, because I'm like, okay, as I know I'm getting older, and I'm like, okay, I got to step my game up, because I see like so many, you know, women out there, whether celebrities or people on social media, that are just killing it, with their, beautiful figure, beautiful skin, beautiful texture. They're just really are just they're just beautiful. And I look at that and I compare myself sometimes, because as I get older, I just feel like I need to, and I'm aware that I need to step my game up, but it's like a part of me is just like trying to figure out where to begin with it, have the mindset to do it, and just sometimes be imprisoned by my bouts of depression sometimes, or being confined to my own insecurities. And it's a lot, that I don't talk about. And I don't think that a lot of people are aware of it, because I'm so into myself. And sometimes I put up a facade at times, but I'm I just I just mask my insecurities a lot. So that's the bottom line as far as getting older, because I'm really hope that I'm just look forward to the opportunity to kind of get out my shell again and work on myself more, because I I feel I feel a ways about getting older also, because I honestly don't feel like I have much to show for it, because there's so much time that I wasted where I'm not where I should be at this stage of my life, professional wise and personal wise. I had so much ambition, but I lack follow through, because I've always allowed fear and intimidation to get the better of me. I've always gotten in my own way. So now, as I get older, and I still have a job and not a career. I don't, I still don't know what my true purpose is, if I have one. I'm still struggling with my spirituality, and wanting to make sure that God is pleased with me. I These are the type of things that go through my mind on a regular basis, because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I don't even know at some point if I'm going to be able to retire comfortably. I think about the long haul. I think about these things. I I think about how stifled I am, you know. And I know some people might say, that they admire the fact that I decided to move to a whole nother state on my own and start anew. And I don't regret that at all. I thank God that I was able to make that transition, because that's something I wanted to do. But it seems like that's the only thing they could bring up. It's like that's the only thing, you know. It's like, okay, I was able to move from New York to Georgia on my own and start anew, but what else is there? You know, what else is there? You know, and it's not that I'm fishing for compliments. I will never do that. But what else, but my point is that what else is there when it comes to what I was able to accomplish in life, and how I'm, how I'm able to be content or pleased with how things are going within my life right now. And I was hoping, I really hope that by the time my son gets my age, that he will excel way beyond me. That's my, that's my biggest hope. So, so just, just trying to just give you a little bit of transparency of where I am right now. And I'm still working on me. I'm still trying to figure it out. Now that I'm here in this space, the only thing I could do right now is try to figure out how to how to navigate this life that I have moving forward, right? Because it's only thing I can do is move forward. You know, can't go backwards. I got to move forward, but I can't help but to I can't help but to kind of dwell on certain things, or I can't help but to wrap my mind around the space that I'm in. So I know that it was a lot that I'm saying. I know, like I said, I tend to ramble, but I'm still making a point nonetheless. Even though I might ramble at times, I still am. I'm still ten toes down on what I'm saying here. So you just have to kind of pick up the pieces, so to speak. Because sometimes I have a hard time articulating certain things. At times, I tend to be socially awkward. Some people may feel that I'm weird. I've gotten that a lot too. People feel like I'm weird or slow or just, crazy or whatever. But, you know, but, I'm saying this for a purpose. I'm saying this for a reason. I just want to encourage, especially women, to just remain steadfast in your journey. God bless you on your journey. Shout out to Melody Cherie. God bless you on your journey. Continue to do what's best for you. And to the men too, because I know there's a lot of men that have certain insecurities as well. But for the sake of the whole idea about being more sensitive to women's aesthetic and the standards of beauty, just be a little bit more understanding and compassionate of how the type of loads that women have to carry with childbirth and relationships, marriages, and carrying the load of some people having to be single mothers, or having to deal with certain health issues, and being the pillar for so many other people around them. And just be more mindful of how you come across and the way you portray a woman, or women in general, and how that may affect their psyche. Just be mindful of those things. But I just wanted to just come on. I hope that you can kind of take heed to certain things that I'm saying, because like I said, I know that there are certain areas of this discussion that you may not be able to piece together or understand, but just act like you know for me, okay? Just indulge me just a little bit, okay? Just indulge me just a little bit. I would appreciate that. So, just like, comment, subscribe to my channel. The support is very much needed and very much desired. And I'll talk to you guys soon enough.